Here with Democrat candidate, starter clock, Frank Leon Guerrero. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning.
Good
How are you
morning.
doing?
We're doing great.
We're doing pretty good. Now, there's probably about, 10,000
Thanks,
Frank Leon Guerreros on Guam. So if you could, Frank, tell the people, the voters out there, which Frank Leon Guerrero are you and why they should cast their vote for you.
I have many hats, so I get confused myself. I've put on many hats for Guam, and I'm Frank Leon Guerrero today. I guess I can say I just retired from the U.S. Marshal Service and trying to enjoy my homeland.
And so, tell us, you were also at the Superior Court, right? GPD. An extensive background in law enforcement.
Right, Bree. The law enforcement has predominantly been my career. I spent nearly 40 years in public safety. For a lot of people who don't remember me, I actually put in 25 years with the Guam Police Department. I retired as a major, and thereafter I've worked with the legislature.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked for the congresswoman. I've worked with her. Then the judiciary of Guam asked me to come over based on my experience with law enforcement and training. So they wanted me to help them set up work up the Marshal Division. So I became the Chief Marshal for the Judiciary of Guam and eventually retired there. I retired because I had an opportunity to move up to the federal level, and I became the U.S. Marshal.
Right.
And that, of course, is a presidential appointment by President Barack Obama. And after that, I just retired late last year.
Mm-hmm. So, Frank, tell us about your platform and your reasons for running.
Well, the thing about it is, it's to serve and protect the island of Guam has always been my nature. I think everyone else, if I can do something for you in whatever capacity, I'll do it. But law enforcement is my expertise. So again, having retired, I've been in very critical situations in a lot of during my career. I'm very confident that I can offer. We're in a pandemic. We're in an economical crisis right now, and I'm going to come in. Some people will say, "I'll come in with ideas." I'm coming in with proven solutions. So I get things done. When I work with something, I complete the mission. And if you can see that my career speaks for itself. I'm able to do 3 retirements and then some.
Right.
Right. So I'm not short-lived. When I commit to something, I commit to finish it. When I commit to help the people of Guam, I'm going to commit to finish it. Right. I'm going to commit to helping the people. Mm-hmm. I'm going to provide my services. Guam gave this to me, right? I was born and raised here. They gave me that opportunity, so I'm giving back to the community. I'm giving back to my island. I'm giving back to my family. I have to protect my family. Mm-hmm. I protect the island.
Frank, given the background you have in, it's quite an extensive background in law enforcement. What are your plans to address the rampant methamphetamine importation that's happening on Guam? Also, obviously we are living in what I call the first pandemic, the ice age of Guam. We have so much crystal methamphetamine being shipped into various ports of entry on our island that the price of a gram of crystal meth is at an all-time low. So it is flooded out here with crystal meth.
Yes.
What do you plan to do to combat the crystal methamphetamine pandemic that we're going through right now?
I think we need to focus more on, we know that there's some information that we can't disclose, But we need to focus more on those the people that are importing it. We need to step up in those areas. I've worked with DEA, and they're saying that there are ongoing investigations. So the thing about it is, everyone is short. DEA was short. We had, Guam Police supports them. A lot of agencies support them in their mission. We support each other. So we just need to stay together with the Guam Police Department, the federal law enforcement agency. I just step it up. Let me tell you something. What has been the greatest, I say, drug bust on the islands? Who's actually doing the greatest drug bust on the island? And you know what my answer is? It's the guy in the street. He's the one who's just pulling you over for a bad traffic light or something. And then he finds drugs all over. Then the information leads all the way back to where the sources are. Unfortunately, we are not having the patrol officers in the street. But look at the news, Chris. Look at the news. Every time and you can see it right now. Every time a traffic officer pulls over, it's very likely that you're going to find drugs. So build up the sources, build it back to these areas, and let's get the police officers, support the police officers, because we're not going to stop it.
Right, Frank. I like what you're saying. Now, I wanted to kind of go more specifically to a case involving he's the former deputy marshal of the Judiciary of Guam, Joey Terlai, where we've seen revealed through the case of Mayor Jesse Blas that there's just it's too close for comfort, the relationship between people who are bringing in crystal meth, which is poisoning our island, and law enforcement. What do you plan to do to fight that corruption that is? It's fairly obvious that there's some element of law enforcement that is either aiding, assisting, turning a blind eye to the importation of crystal meth into our island. So how do you plan, with your law enforcement background, to really cut into the heart of this and cut it out?
Yeah. Well, unless it's the whole island that's got to put it together. Unfortunately, our culture is, I believe, is on the way, because we know that it's there. We know that our brothers are using the drugs and everything else, but we're not helping them. So we need to, and it's the court system. We just need to work together, and I want to try to work more close to the source, because a lot of these people are getting away. Big distributors are getting away. And there's a network that I can't talk about. There's a network that is here. That needs to be shut down, because if we don't shut down that network, it's going to keep coming in no matter what. So there are information out there that there are main distributors. There's a network that's bringing it in. There's people helping. And it's just, in hard times right now, people need money. That's one of the first things. So when they offer you millions of dollars, thousands of dollars, that's big money. You get tempted into trying to bring narcotics in.
Well, aside from what you plan on doing on the law enforcement side, are there any other particular issues, though, that concern you and that you plan on addressing or introducing?
Sorry,
aside from yes?
No, I am. I haven't.
You want to try and ask him?
Frank, can you hear me, Frank?
I can hear you clear, yes.
Okay, let's try Sabrina again. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Aside from drugs, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, aside from drugs and law enforcement, what else do you plan on tackling if you are elected into the 36th Guam legislature? What other issues concern you?
I'm sorry, that was a little muffled towards the end.
Frank, what issues other than drug and police corruption are you planning to address if elected to a seat in the next Guam legislature?
Well, one of the things that's bothering me right now is the defund the police officers. you cannot defund the police officers. You need to support the police officers. We don't have that problem here in the island. So I say we fund the police officers, get more police officers in, it's all of the law enforcement. But right now, here's the problem. How many police officers do you have? Let's just, I'm going to give it a wild number, 300, right? And then how many of them are on detail right now for serving food or controlling traffic up for the food sources? A lot of these officers are not being police officers. I need to fix that thing. I need to get the police officers out in the street because, Bree, Chris, you and I can go 100 miles up and down Marine Drive and you're not going to see a cop, okay? Because they're busy somewhere else doing something else that's not police work. Security should be done by private security. You want to talk about getting the economy up? Encourage the private security agencies to come up and take over some of these guard duties. Why are we guarding the hospitals? Why are we guarding? Why directing traffic to the food? Someone else can do that.
Right. So let me ask you, Frank. That being said, when you're talking about security, so the governor's executive security is provided by GPD and paid for by the Guam Police Department. So would you support that security being paid for by the governor's office instead?
That's one of the things I've always tried to do when I was still in the police department. I actually have a standalone executive security funded by them. Unfortunately, a lot of it is tapped into the Guam Police Department, including their resources. That's their official vehicles, their manpower. You're paying sergeants, captains, and all these other things high salaries to do executive security. That's fine, but they should be a standalone. It's kind of like the U.S. Secret Service for the president. Establish a standalone executive security dedicated just for the governor's office. Let them build it. And let police do police work, because these are great police officers that are out there doing executive security, but they're needed out in the street.
Right.
And that's why we can't fight crime, because the good guys, the best guys, unfortunately go somewhere else.
Right. I wanted to go back to the issue of drugs. And, I just remember you were the U.S. Marshal, and there used to be the Mandania Drug Task Force, and that, for people who don't know, was, GPD, and you had federal counterparts involved with drug busts and things like that. And then when the governor came in, she basically they reorganized. There's no longer no Mandania, but it's the SIS that's handling these drug investigations. So I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on that?
Do we need to bring back a Mandania type organization to combat crystal meth and drugs on Guam?
And would you say that the Mandania Drug Task Force was successful?
Not necessarily. It was a lot of people dedicated, really good people dedicated to an operation, and it wasn't a full-time. It wasn't a full-time investigation. Basically, those people were put together, and when the warrant was prepared by some other investigators or someone else, they went into the doors and busted the doors, made the arrest, and got all the credits. Unfortunately, they weren't the investigators. They were handmade. They were. So if you're going to do something that start going to the investigation, stay with the case, finish it with the case. But what was happening was someone else was doing the investigation, and the Mandania Task Force basically was just going over there, picking them up, and a lot of people, I think, that could be used somewhere else, or at least refocus their operation into completely dedicated drug task force or something, so we can work on that.
Oh,
we have a task force. We had a task force with Marshal Service And we didn't, but we worked with the local police officers, we worked with federal agencies, and we didn't spend that much time, but we were very effective. You know, we went and we have a regular operation where we went into the most violent fugitives on the island.
Well, Frank, we're running out of time, so you have 30 seconds, if you could, just to give your final comments on why people should vote for you.
Okay. We go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say something about, have you seen my advertisement? It says you see Frank Chief Leon Guerrero, right? Well,
Yes.
Chief is not my title. Chief is not my title. Chief is an acronym. That's my legacy. And I want to explain my legacy with using that the word Chief. It's an acronym. It's an acronym for, that's the credibility that I built myself on. And the Chief represents credibility. That's me. The
All right.
H is the honor. I swore to you that I will protect you. That's my honor. The integrity. I'm always honest and truthful. I've done it. The President of the United States trusted me. Empathy. You know, everyone I will work, not just work with everyone. Criminals love me because when I arrest them, I treat them like human beings. And
Okay.
faith. I have faith on the island, faith on my people, and I'll take care of you, Guam.
Thank you, Frank. We got to
Thanks,
run.
Frank.
Okay, appreciate it.
Good luck.
Frank Leon Guerrero, Democrat candidate for senator there.